It's the last evening of the month, and you know what that means. We're going to recap April and look ahead to May this evening on our Tuesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you enjoyed a really nice late afternoon and evening today. After the clouds and showers we had earlier, the weather certainly improved in the last several hours of April. But April will go into the record books as a warm and wet month across eastern Ohio and western PA. In fact, at the Youngstown-Warren Regional Airport, it goes into the record books as the 7th wettest April on record, almost 6 inches worth of rain. But that being said, the last couple of weeks of April noticeably drier than the first couple of weeks. Look how many rainy days we had during the first 2 weeks of the month, including a couple of days when we had over an inch worth of rain in one calendar day at the Youngstown-Warren Airport. But ever since about Tax Day, while we have had some bouts of wet weather, it has not been as excessively wet as earlier in the month. In Pennsylvania, between about I-79 and I-99 in west central parts of PA, that's the corridor that had the highest overall rain totals for the month of April. Some radar estimates of 7, 8, even 9 inches or so, pretty common. Places like Indiana, Pennsylvania, that's a city, heading over towards Clearfield and DuBois and down towards Johnstown, places like that definitely had the highest amounts overall as far as the regional totals in the month of April. For our area, it's been a wet year so far. 2 plus 1 inches is the surplus for April. We had over an inch worth of a surplus in terms of total precipitation back in January, and while February was a little drier than average, March was pretty close to the average, and so for the first third of the year, we're running over 2 inches above average in terms of total precipitation. Temperature-wise, we're going to finish the month probably around 5 degrees warmer than the average. It's good for a top 5 finish in terms of warmest Aprils on record. Every month so far in 2024 has been warmer than the average, and outside of January, some of these margins are very, very impressive. For February, March, and April, to have 3 straight months with margins like that is really something. Now let's look ahead to the month of May. This is the final May outlook put out by the Climate Prediction Center, CPC, as part of NOAA, the National Weather Service, in other words. And their outlook makes some sense to me. If I were drawing this, I might not have this area, this bullseye of brighter greens across the mid-Mississippi Valley. I could see where that works out, but I don't think it's a very high confidence thing, at least for me. Across our area, I don't have a problem with us kind of being in the neutral zone for precipitation in May. I could see where it ends up being drier than average. I could see where we have enough rain during the first half of the month that it could end up being a little wetter than average, but I don't think we'll see the kind of margins we had in April, although the tenor of the month may be kind of similar to April in that the first 10 days or so may be pretty unsettled, with a drier pattern trying to take hold again as we head towards mid-May. Also maybe a cooler pattern by mid-May. We'll talk about that here in just a moment, but the May outlook overall in terms of temperatures for the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, warmer than average temperatures favored once again. But of course, that's a 31-day outlook. There's going to be some variation within that 31-day period. And to my eye, looking at the medium range models, I think there's pretty good chances as we head towards mid-month of some stretches of cooler than average weather. I don't see it happening during the first 10 days of the month, but as we head towards mid-month, say between maybe the 10th, 11th through maybe the 20th or so, during that kind of middle third of the month, I could see where the cooler than average days outnumber the warmer than average days before we turn things around again towards the last third of May. So it may be a month that starts warm, there's a chunk in the middle that is cooler, and it ends a little bit warmer. That's the way it looks to me right now. In the meantime, again, the last few hours here of April looking fantastic. It'll be a great sunset this evening with the clouds departing out to our east. Clear sky tonight means a cooler night tonight, cooler than many of our recent nights. In the meantime, on this final April evening, no surprise, we have more severe weather to talk about out in the Plain States. That's the hotbed typically at this time of the year, and we have a whole line of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings from the Kansas-Oklahoma border all the way up into central parts of Iowa. The red and yellow boxes here are tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches out there. But in the Youngstown area and across eastern Ohio and western PA, grab those shades as you head out the door Wednesday morning. What just a picture-perfect mid-spring day. A little bit of a chill in the air to start, but pretty close to average in terms of those temperatures. Just we've gotten used to these summer-like mornings, right? So maybe a good idea to shut the windows tonight, or at least just crack them after your house warmed up during the day today. It'll cool off fairly quickly tonight if you leave those windows open. We'll be in the mid-70s already by midday, and I think we'll touch 80 in some communities before the day is through. a full supply of sunshine for most of Wednesday, just a few passing fair weather clouds. Kind of the same idea on Thursday. Our next weather maker does not arrive until the end of the week. This is a cold front heading our way. It's another in a series of pretty weak fronts, and while Friday will get off to a dry start, I think shower and thunderstorm chances will increase from west to east during the second half of the day on Friday. Now, the weekend, it's a May weekend, and we're getting into that time of the year that weekend forecasts become more and more important. There's more and more outdoor things going on as we head into mid-spring. Graduation parties, proms, everything else, even just routine yard work and golf outings, things like that. The weekend forecast is all important as we get into mid to late spring and into summer. And I'll tell you, to my eye right now, Saturday looks like the more unsettled of the two weekend days. I think this front that approaches Friday is going to kind of stall for a while, Friday night into Saturday, leading to elevated chances of showers and storms through much of Saturday. We may see a break in the action then Saturday night into parts of Sunday, but with another disturbance trying to kick through, I can't rule out a shower or a thunderstorm trying to make inroads again on Sunday. After that, we should have a little bit of a break at the beginning of next week, Sunday night, and into Monday before unsettled weather may return during midweek. And so again, the overall idea for May is the first 10 days maybe a little unsettled but also warm. The middle of the month may be cooler but less wet, and then warmer temperatures may win the battle once again during the last third of the month. We'll see how that plays out in the coming weeks. In the meantime, thank you for watching this Tuesday evening edition of the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast video. I will see you right back here on Wednesday.